Hello YouTube, this is Andy with Andy's Dizzy Vlogs. Have not made a video in a while. I suppose the reason for that is I got laid off from work. Wow, sorry for the shakiness. I got laid off from work about a month ago, and I just have been really busy working on my house. Not that it matters, but I just finished up some stuff that I don't have time to do because I'm working so much usually. So I finished up my spare bedroom and painted my kitchen and decorated my house for Christmas, and have just been enjoying life, I guess, a little bit. Finally can breathe now being off work. Unfortunately, I still have yet to get my unemployment, so that sucks. And my mortgage is due, so that's a little stressful. Anyways, none of that has anything to do with my condition. I had the pleasure of having a friend over who, for anonymity's sake, I will not mention her name, but I'm sure, well, yeah, she'll know who she is. But very special person. She's a very warm and kind person, and it's an unfortunate thing that we both happen to have the same condition. But she did make the drive down to meet me. We had been in correspondence with each other over different social medias, and we'd just been talking about our condition and our vestibular migraine issues and all the stuff surrounding that. So we connected, and she decided to come visit me. So I had a nice weekend with her, and yeah, it was nice, being able to meet and relate with someone who understands, what I go through. So anyways, yeah, I haven't made a video in a long time just because I've been busy with stuff, and I am just leaving Walmart and thought, you know what, I better make a video just because it's been so long. So I wish that I could report that my absence from YouTube was because I'm cured and everything's fine. That unfortunately is not the case. In fact, just leaving Walmart, I can tell you that I still struggle going into places like that. I tend to be okay, just walking around my house. If I start doing more laborious activities like, doing the dishes, cleaning the kitchen, mopping, sweeping, whatever, I'll start to notice them. But I think just because in my house I'm not doing generally that much, I tend to be okay. But in places like Walmart, I still have some bad issues. It's the same thing. Nothing has changed. It's just I feel disoriented, which often leads to a sense of confusion. My senses are sort of overloaded with what's going on, that my memory starts to fail me. I'll often find myself wandering down an aisle and not remembering why I went down that aisle. So it's a very frustrating thing, and it also just feels bad, not emotionally but physically. It just feeling disoriented and sort of lightheaded. And I talked to my friend about this when she was over, and I still struggle to like describe the sensation that I experience, because it is lightheadedness, but it's also not. It's what I think now, and I've thought this before, but I'm feeling this more strongly now, that the sensations I'm feeling are actually some sort of migraine that is spontaneously, I shouldn't say spontaneous, it is it's a result of my environment. And so if I'm sitting down, or like right now I'm driving, I feel fine, I guess, minus the leftover, residue of being in Walmart. But in general, I feel fine right now. However, walking around Walmart, even walking through the parking lot on the way in, I started feeling, and just to be clear, I don't think that this is a mental thing. I just think that like once I start being active and walking, it starts kicking in. And then I walk into a place like Walmart with the bright lights and the just people everywhere and the shelves. It starts to, go crazy. And I should, just to piggyback off of this example, when my friend was visiting, we went to, my town does this light up nights, like a lot of big cities and towns do. Our town does a light up night, and so everyone from my town, all the shops in the main street are open, and there's vendors and music and whatnot. Well, there's also a lot of people, and so walking through crowds for me, I've noticed, like, I think I made a video a long time ago about me going to a concert. Walking through a crowd, and even just being in a crowd, is almost always a nightmare. But not always, which is that's what is so confusing about this and so frustrating about this, is like you think you pinned it down on like your triggers, but then like I went to a concert, I don't know, I guess just about 3 weeks ago, and I did fine. And there was, crazy strobe lights, and, every band, it was like 5 bands, and every band had a crazy light show. And even a long time ago before this, I went to a concert, and very minimal lighting in that concert. But there was a set of lights that would pan like this up and down, and every time it like went past my eyes, it would make me feel awful. But then I go to this concert, and I mean, just crazy environment, crowded, very crowded, shoulder to shoulder, walking through people, crazy lights in the dark, and I was totally fine. So I don't understand, but I digress. I don't want to get off into several tangents, as I usually do. Yeah, it's hard to pin what exactly, like why sometimes seemingly this particular thing triggers my symptoms, and then I'll have this one day where it doesn't, and it doesn't make any sense. But so yeah, I'm still struggling. Certainly not as bad as I was when this all began, or even the first year of it, but there's still symptoms that I experience on a daily basis that are frustrating, and I think now that I'm not working at the moment, it's a lot easier to feel like things are better because I don't do as much. I mean, normally I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and I go work outside for 10 hours every day. And I'm, in an environment where there's extreme heights, tall things around me everywhere, loud noises, lots of people, so I'm like constantly bombarded all day with this, intense environment that triggers my symptoms. So now that I'm off work, yes, I've been busy doing stuff, but it's less jarring on me. And I'm certainly not waking up and going to work 10 hours outside and doing all this crazy stuff. I'm still going to the gym 5 days a week. But, it's something I've noticed where I'm like, man, when I look back on it, I'm like, I think I've been doing better. But then I realize, like, no, I don't want to be naively optimistic and thinking that, like, yeah, it's actually getting better, when in reality I'm not really doing like 1/10 of the physical activity that I would normally do at work. So there's that. But even not doing as much, it doesn't take that much to get whacked out. I can just go to Walmart, or I can go to Marshall's, or I could, pretty much any store makes me all whacked out. And yeah, it's this, I think what I'm feeling is like a constriction of blood vessels in my head. And I think that's where the sense of lightheadedness and disorientation comes from. Because, yeah, it makes you feel that sense of lightheadedness. But I think the disorientation is a type of headache, but when you're in that environment that's already confusing and a lot of information to process, for a normal brain is you like filter a lot of it out. But in that state, with this type of migraine, it all becomes so confusing, and like it seems like my brain is just being flooded with too much information that it can't process. And so I think that's where the disorientation comes from. In a strange way, it is a result of the headache. And the reason I say that is because there are times when, like today, when I was in Walmart, when I actually do have this experience, like physically, of a headache, yes, but not the type of headache that I think most people are familiar with. It's not just a pain in your head, because I get those, but it's more of like a feeling like a brain freeze. But imagine just like the whole top of your head feels like cold and dull and achy, and then that's in combination with the feeling like your brain is being like squeezed or deprived of something, and that's where like the lightheadedness and the disorientation come from? So, you know, these are all just my crackpot theories. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor, but even the doctors don't know. So these are just my musings on things. Like I said, I wish I had good news to come back with after not posting for a month, but I would say things are probably about the same. As far as my medication, I am on, so on my own, I upped my propranolol, the beta blocker, which I did because I had several conversations with my pharmacist who, after talking to him, you know, on several occasions, learned that he's like, and not to say that I didn't know that pharmacists weren't intelligent, but I didn't realize the scope of their training and what they have to know to become a pharmacist tech. And so my pharmacist that I got to know, I talked to him on, you know, like 3 occasions for like a half an hour, 45 minutes about my condition, and he actually knows quite a lot about it, because, and you know, we talked about like why antidepressants are being prescribed for migraines now, and we talked about gabapentin because he did like his thesis paper on gabapentin. So very knowledgeable, but in any case, because I talked to him one time, and you know, he said that gabapentin is sort of just like a catch-all, and that doctors oftentimes prescribe that for things that don't really have any little, if any, studies behind, but they might have like a patient say, yeah, I think it, you know, maybe helped a little bit. And so it's a lot of what is that called? Not eyewitness testimony, but whatever, self-reporting, you know. So doctors are just, you know, just kind of throwing that out to see. And he said that, you know, it's often prescribed for things that don't really have much medical backing. So for that reason, I, with my doctor, came off of gabapentin. I, for a long time, knew that it wasn't doing anything for me. And so I got myself off of gabapentin. I also, my pharmacist mentioned how propranolol does have pretty good, studies and support behind it being really good for migraines. And he talked to me about the dosage and whatnot, and I had already been up to, I wish I could remember what milligram dosage I was up to, because I don't remember, but I was up on a relatively high dose, and it didn't do anything then. But just because of that talk, I thought, you know what, it's something I've already taken. Maybe maybe my mind and my physical state was so bad when this all started that I was just too scared, you know, and every time I was on a medication and my symptoms spiked, because they constantly were, I would just like associate it with that medication and then be like, well, it didn't work. And so I thought, you know what, I've already been on it. I've been on a much, much higher dose than I am right now. Let me up slowly this propranolol and, you know, just give that another try. Why not? So I did that for, 3 weeks, a month, and I didn't notice anything. I went from 40 milligrams to 80 and then 100 even for a couple days. maybe a week, I don't remember. And I didn't notice any difference. So I came back down to 40. Why am I staying on 40? I don't know. I guess just because my doctor, that's what I was on when I started seeing him, and he doesn't want me to, he wants to fix me before he starts taking stuff away, because he doesn't know what's doing what, and it'll be hard to, know what's working, what's doing what, which I understand. But so now I am still in the process of trying to get off venlafaxine and onto Cymbalta. The venlafaxine, if you remember, was giving me awful side effects for, like, my limbs were going numb, my hands and feet were tingly and numb all day, every day. It was terrible. And so after I dropped to a much lower dosage of the venlafaxine and started on the Cymbalta, that went away, thank goodness. But I'm still on the venlafaxine, and it's taking a long time for me to wean off of it. I don't know why. My doctor is really just doing things slowly, which, I don't know, can be frustrating, because I just want to get on with it, especially since I'm off work right now. Like, I feel like I have this window of experimentation time and, like, time to breathe, where, God forbid, if, a medication, like, gives me panic attacks or whatever, I'm not having to then deal with 10 hours of work every day and, a full life schedule. Like, I can just be at home in bed, and, like, it's much less stressful. So I really wanted to take this opportunity to, like, up my Cymbalta and get that going, and he just seems to want to, wait 2 weeks, wait 3 weeks on this dose before you up it again, another 10 milligrams. It's like, man, let's just get on with it already. Because I'm still on the venlafaxine. It's been, I feel like, months of weaning off of it. It's just so slow. Everything is so slow. So that's been kind of a frustrating thing for me, is that I just want to use this time that I have of this period of less stress to find something that finally makes me feel normal. But I digress. I'm at a different Walmart now, because the first Walmart that I went to didn't have shallots, so I can't have onions. So I kind of screwed up my diet this previous weekend when my friend came, which is fine. I've been pretty stringent on following my diet, the Dizzy diet. I don't know how much it's helped, but I mean, I eat much cleaner. I eat much more holistically, and it's much better for me regardless. But anywho, yeah, I don't know. I wish I had more positive things to report on, other than getting some stuff done at my house. That's good. Not a whole lot positive in the Dizzy department. Yeah. So I have to go into this Walmart, and hopefully they have shallots, so I'm gonna be making my it started off as a quiche recipe from the Dizzy cookbook, but to cut down on carbs, I don't use the dough, and it's basically just an egg dish that I bake in a pan. with uncured sausage, Velveeta cheese, sauteed bell peppers and shallots, and yeah, I do 18 eggs. I just put it in the pan and bake it, cut it up, vacuum seal them, and then it's my breakfast for the morning for 8 days. Depends, 12 days, depends on how big I make the slices. But, alright, I'm gonna cut this before it's a half an hour. I gotta go into Walmart right now, which I don't want to do. So, alright, well, this has been Andy with Andy's Dizzy Vlogs with an update. We'll see how soon I make another video. Just depends on if I have good or bad news. I will say that I think that I have been walking 20 minutes on the treadmill at the highest incline after my workout, and I think, you know, who knows, but I just think that maybe, because the way I feel in the gym also is like a sort of a litmus test, and I had been feeling much better as far as not being so lightheaded, and I had been feeling better in the gym, and I'm wondering if it's not because I've been doing the walking, which of course I'm stationary, I'm on an incline, but yet I'm looking out at the gym, and then when I get off, you know, you feel that weird sensation like you're still moving. I'm wondering if that isn't good for me to like sort of desensitize my mind to that type of thing. Also, just this week, not even, just like 3 days ago, I decided that I needed to start drinking more water, so I'm back to the old gallon of water a day, and I've got my hours on here just so I know. It keeps me, I'm behind today, I slept in today, but that's been, I think, good, and also I think it's super important for people with migraines, vestibular migraines, whatever, to stay very hydrated. So that's something that I've recently added into my daily regime or regimen. Regime is like something dictators have, right? Yeah, my daily regimen. I'm not a dictator. Anyways, that's it. Andy signing off. What's my tagline? What's my catchphrase? It's been so long. If you're not thriving, keep trying. There you go. I'm still trying, so keep your head up, keep pushing, and hopefully one day we can look back at these videos and look back on our experiences, and it will just be a really bad memory that we can go, I've grown a lot since then and I don't have to deal with that crap anymore. So that will be nice. Anyways, till the next time, everyone stay safe out there. We'll see you later.